Hi, I'm Neil, and today I'm going to tell you how I solved one of my personal pet peeves when it comes to audio on this Sony FS5 Mark II. So what is the problem with audio on this camera and a lot of other cameras like it? Canon, Sony, Panasonic, etc., including a bunch of mirrorless cameras. The problem is when you put your headphones on and monitor your audio, if you've got two channels of audio coming into the camera, two microphones, one microphone will often be plugged into the left channel and one microphone will be plugged into the right channel. If you've got two lavalier microphones, one on one subject, one on another subject, you want to be able to level those two channels independently. You can do that on a camera like this. You can see I can control channel 1 and channel 2's audio levels independently with these two knobs. The trouble I have is that when I'm adjusting them in my ears from the camera, I only have two options. I can listen to channel 1 in my left ear and channel 2 in my right ear, which means that I hear one microphone in my left ear and one microphone in my right ear, or I can listen to both channels in both ears. Now you might be saying, well, why is it bad to hear both channels in both ears? If you have two interview subjects with lavalier microphones on, then yes, that actually would make sense and that's perfectly fine. You can hear clicks, you can hear clothing rustle. It might be more difficult to discern which person's clothing is rustling against their lavalier microphone, but yeah, you can totally do that. The problem really comes when you throw a shotgun microphone up on top of the camera as your second audio track and a lavalier as your first, which for me is most of the time. Usually I only have one subject in front of the camera at a time, and I've got a shotgun mic up here as my backup audio, and I've got a lavalier on them as my primary audio. So when I'm listening to the audio, if I'm listening to it with, for example, the lavalier coming into my left ear and the shotgun coming into my right ear, it's rather difficult for me to hear exactly what's going on with either microphone. I have a hard time differentiating between the two and figuring it out. What I'd like instead is to have just the lavalier microphone in my ears and just listen to that, knowing that the on-camera shotgun microphone is probably perfectly fine. And you can actually do that with this camera and many others. You can actually select to hear channel 1 in both ears and just not hear channel 2 at all. The trouble with that is in order to then listen to channel 2, I've got to go through a rather difficult menu system on this camera to re-enable channel 2 and put channel 2 in both ears or go back to the stereo mode. And long story short, it's just not convenient or conducive to getting good audio. And I'm so focused on changing what channels my audio is going to that I'm no longer paying attention to my subject. If I'm a one-man band that day and doing the interviewing, monitoring the audio, running two cameras, that's just way more than I can handle at the same time. So the way that I have solved this is taking a product that was not at all designed for the purposes, but I think solved the problem absolutely perfectly. A Behringer personal in-ear amplifier. What this guy does is, traditionally, it's what someone who's on stage perhaps would use to level their own audio coming from a board. You might have somebody on the side of the stage in an audio situation feeding you audio, your guitar or the rest of the band is coming into one input and your microphone is coming into the other input. And then on this side, you'd be able to balance channel 1 and channel 2 in your headphones so that you could either hear more of just yourself or more of the rest of the band. It has coming into it two channels of audio. It has two XLR inputs on the back, one DC 9-volt power input, and that's an on-off switch. On the front, it's got two knobs and a button. It's got a volume knob, a balance knob, which either goes left to right or channel 1 to channel 2, depending on the input you have into it, and then a stereo or mono mode button. Over here is where you plug your headphones in. Up on top, you've got the battery door, which underneath this battery door, this rubber band is on here to hold my headphones. Underneath this battery door is just a regular old 9-volt battery, which in my experience lasts at least a full day of production, if not multiple days of production. That is the Behringer P1 personal in-ear monitor amplifier. I take this and I mount it via a It doesn't come with this, but I bought an adapter to go from, this is designed to go on like a microphone stand, so I think it has like a 5/8 female thread up here, and it comes with a 5/8 to 3/8 adapter, if I'm not mistaken. And then I got a cold shoe to 3/8 widget. I'll probably put links to most of this in the description so that if you want to pick up all the pieces that I did, you can. I just stick it right up here on my hot shoe. You could put it just about any place. You could actually, it comes with a belt clip, so you could just put it right on your belt too if you don't want the weight up on top of your camera. So I use this camera a lot in a tripod mode like this, doing a talking head, and I use it a lot on my shoulder. So like I said, the whole point of this is to be able to adjust my audio very quickly. So when it's here, I can just reach up here. When it's on my shoulder, I can just reach up to right here, and I've got the knobs to adjust. So I haven't really explained what this actually accomplishes for me. Before we get going today, I want to take a moment to thank our. I'm very pleased to say that today this channel is fully supported by Think Tank. Think Tank is the manufacturer of camera and video bags and accessories. They make some really cool things, from little pockets to keep all of your memory cards organized in, to big bags like this for your video equipment, and sticks. I bought in 2006, sticks, one of their belts with a bunch of lens pouches and other pockets. They actually only started in 2005. I found them in a local camera store just a year after they started, which was really cool. This bag in particular, this is the Video Rig 25, I believe it's called. It's big enough to take care of this camera right here, the Sony FS5 Mark II on a shoulder rig. I can take that whole camera fully assembled and throw it in this bag, and then this can go with me anywhere. And then when I get there, I don't have to assemble my camera, put my lenses on, put my monitor on. It's all together. I just pull it out of the bag, throw it on my shoulder, and I can get going. These two bags have been with me literally around the world. They've been to Dubai, they've been to Nigeria twice, they've been to Haiti, and they have held up admirably despite the airline's best effort to pull them apart. I trust them completely to take care of my equipment, and I would recommend that you trust Think Tank to take care of your equipment. Check them out. There's a one and only affiliate link to Think Tank in the description below. If you follow that link, it'll support this channel, and it won't cost you a penny more. So check them out, thinktankphoto.com, or you can click the affiliate link below. Thanks so much for their support. Now, let's get on with the show. This is the headphone port on the back of my camera right here. Coming out of the headphone port, I've got a 90-degree short cable. So I've got this little 3-inch long cable on the back of my camera with a 90-degree turn on it. I like this for a number of reasons. The 90-degree turn is very helpful, and the 3 inches isn't so necessary, but it allows me to get the audio out of the back of the camera in a way that is clean, and it's relatively low profile. I like this particular cable. It's done well, and it's been relatively resilient. I plug that in back here, and then over on this side, I have a cable that is just a stereo 1/8-inch male phono plug that breaks out into 2 XLR male connectors, full-size connectors. So it's stereo 1/8-inch to stereo XLRs. So this is left channel, this is right channel, or vice versa, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Point is, you get 2 channels of audio coming out of the back of the camera, a left and a right, and they get broken out into a left and the right. I plug those into the back of the P1, and then I plug this into that little cable. I guess in this case I did need that extra 3 inches, so that cable came in doubly handy. But you can get these cables in a bunch of different lengths. This is like a 1-foot version, I think. Now I've got 2 channels of audio coming into the P1. And I'm gonna flip it on, the power switch is on the back. Green light comes on. If the batteries are low, that red light comes on. So when it's in mono mode, when this button is pressed in and I have headphones plugged in, I will hear my voice from channel 1, or I will hear the audio coming from channel 1, which is this knob is twisted all the way to the left right now to channel 1. I will hear that audio in both of my ears. So it's in mono. If I put it in stereo mode and I pan all the way to the left, then I'll only hear that channel 1 in my left ear, which isn't very helpful. That gets me right back to square one. But when I put it in mono mode, it is in both ears. And if I pan this to channel 2, I hear just the channel 2 audio in both ears. If I pan it back to the middle, then I get channel 1 and channel 2 in mono in both ears. So I can hear channel 1 and channel 2 at the same time in both ears. I can control the volume of everything up here, and that's really all there is to it. The value of this is that I can now choose on the fly which audio channel I'm listening to just by reaching up and turning this knob. So if I've got a lavalier in channel 1 and my shotgun mic in channel 2, I'm able to switch between them very, very simply. It works absolutely flawlessly. What didn't work flawlessly was a number of competitors to this product. I tried an unpowered version by Beach Tech that didn't work. I tried another unpowered one by Compusa or Comstat or I forget what, it was an Amazon purchase. That didn't work. I tried a powered one from somebody else that didn't work. For whatever reason, I had a couple of failures that in theory should have worked fine, but this one was the one that worked best and really worked at all. My only gripe is that it has a battery in it that I have to remember to turn off, and I've left it on many times and had to replace the battery when I come back to my camera. It does have a 9-volt power port, and I do have a power distribution unit that I could run some 9-volt power to that I might do in the future, but you know, for now at least the battery isn't so inconvenient, and I've gotten better about remembering to turn it off. This, when I'm traveling especially, has a tendency to fall off. Getting these cold shoe things tight always is a problem. So the way I solve that is you can pick up on Amazon these, I don't even know what they're called. They're not zip ties, but they're kind of like zip ties.
Reusable tightening strap?
Reusable tightening strap. Yeah, I'm gonna just pull this thing off altogether. This is a good video. This will fall off the back of the camera when this thing is in transit because these cold shoe tightening thingy-madoos are never very sturdy. So the way I've solved that is I just take this guy here, and this is, here, let me just get a close-up of this. This is, you've seen these. These are like, you can get a bag of these for like a couple of bucks. And I just always keep them around. They're really only one-time use, though I do use these multiple times. They're not the best, but I particularly like these because they're a little bit stretchy, which means that when I do what I want to do, which is...
Can you put a link here?
Yes, I will put a link somewhere. If people point to like where the link, I know the links are down below. Yeah, the links are below, that I can get. I think usually the links are up here. This is where the links go.
That's where it's going to go, right here.
That's where it's going to go? I don't think you can get a link down there, Fred.
You can get a link down here.
I don't think you can. It's harder than it looks, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, try to work this camera. This camera, here, go ahead, try and work that.
What am I doing here?
Yeah, try and get that in frame. Oh, what? Oh yeah. Not so easy, is it?
That's a thing.
To keep this thing from falling off, now like 4 takes later, what I do is I just wrap this around underneath here. You have to stick your tongue out when you're doing this. It's actually really important that is the case. And this is wrapped around the back of the cold shoe. It's not the prettiest thing, but it gets the job done, and it holds all of this in place. I will also say that in order to do this, I didn't have to, but I did replace the microphone mount on this camera to this guy. The microphone mount that comes with all Sonys is only good for a certain diameter shotgun microphone, which is not the diameter of my NTG3 or my, I forget what other microphones I have, but it wasn't the diameter of any of the microphones I own. I know that people wrap them in little pieces of rubber. I know you can stick things in there. You can wrap the mic in gaff tape. None of that seemed appealing to me. And I really wanted a little bit more ability to move the microphone around. So I invested in this Rycote microphone, which is usable on just about any camera that has this style grip on it. It comes with a bunch of different adapter screws and washers, and it fit perfectly fine on the Sony FS5 Mark II. It gives you a couple points of control. You can tip this both forward and back like this, so you can point it up and down, and then you can also dip it here, so you can fold it flat. When this isn't here, you can fold it flat with the top of the camera. It's a very nice setup, a nice addition. And I will say too that I have the Rycote grips on a number of different tools that I use, including a boom pole, pistol grip, and a couple of other things. Some of my on-camera microphones for my mirrorless cameras have the Rycote isolators, and they work really, really well. So I think that just about wraps up this video on audio pet peeves on cameras like this. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try and answer them. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time.
Until next time, I will see you later.